Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Real Talk Live with Arnett D. Love. I am just so glad that I'm able to come to you today. I think I was out of town last week. Y'all missed me. I know you did because I missed you. But look, we got some serious stuff to talk about. It's campaign season, y'all. It's time to decide who we're going to vote for wherever you are, whatever city you're in, whatever state you're in. It's time to decide who we're going to vote for. And it's okay to, rally behind your friends and loved ones and everything, but just make sure they're the ones that's right for the position. Make sure that they're going to do what's needed to be done for you and yours. And that's the way I look at it, because I would hate to vote for somebody and they don't do what we need as a community. And so it's not fair to us to just vote because they're our friends or because somebody said that. And of course, we want to support our friends and everything, but everybody's not made for every position, and we just have to be mindful voters. Okay, we have to make sure that we tell ourselves the truth. Okay, because when you go into that voting booth, nobody knows who you voting for. I can root for you all day, but when I get behind those clothes, that in that private area in that booth, my conscience kicks in, and my conscience lets me know, hey, this person did this, and this person didn't do this, and this person promised us this, and we never saw it, and all that stuff. So you think about those things. And then one thing that I have put my mind to do, since I was running, y'all know I ran 3 times, but I always wanted to hear from the candidates. I'm going to go and hear from you. I want to know where you're coming from, what you're saying. I want to look you in the eye and see if you're being sincere. If I feel like you're being sincere, I just want to hear for myself and say, okay, well, this is why I voted for this person. This is why I didn't vote for this person. He said this, but he did this. And I remember that they was in office before and they did this, and I don't know if I believe him. This doesn't sound true. Maybe I want to make my own um, assumptions of who I want to vote for. I really do. I'm going to do my research, and I always ask people to research me. So I'm going to do the same thing that I asked another person to do when I was running. I'm going to do it to them. So I'm going to research. I'm going to go to your forums. If I'm invited to your kickoff, I know when your kickoff is going to be. I'm going to your kickoff. Now, if I don't know when you have your kickoff, I didn't receive an invite, I probably won't make it because I really don't go out of my way if it's not announced on social media. Most people have been sending me personal invites, and I want to thank y'all for that. They've been texting them to me and whatnot, and I think most of them was text, maybe an email here or there, but I be getting personal invites, and if I can make it, if I'm free that day, I show up because I want you to know that I am the type of person that's going to hear you out. I'm not going to make any kind of conclusions without hearing you out. So that's the type of voter I am, and I encourage others to be that same type of voter. I always ask people, to pay attention to the meetings that's going on, pay attention to what the politicians are doing and what they're saying, and then see if they're following through on it. But if you pay attention to me, you see who's fighting for you. And a lot of us do not do that. And then you want to always have a comment about something. Yeah, let me, we know what to do as far as the people campaigning. And what we do is our own research. We listen. We go back and we look at how they voted previously, or we look at how they performed previously, regardless of what position they was holding. I mean, even if they never been in office before, you look at how they do in a job, depending on the position that they're looking for. Are they working in the field of what they're asking to be elected for? So we need to pay attention to their work ethics. Okay, definitely pay attention to that. It's not just about voting for people because you like them. I like a lot of people. This year here in my city, a lot of people who I respect, have relationships with, are friends with, a lot of them are running for election this year. And so I can't just get out behind one person and be like, okay, I'm going to vote for this person, I'm gonna vote for this person, I'm gonna vote for this person. I can't do it because I have to really make some sound decisions this year because, like I said, a lot of my friends basically are running for election. So I have to see, is there a reason why this should change? And if there's a reason why, what is the best, what are we looking for as far as an improvement? Are these improvements, can they be done? Are they reasonable improvements? Or are they just somebody reaching out of the sky saying, we going to make this happen, make this happen? Do you have resources to make this happen? This is kind of questions you need to ask. How do you propose that this be done? Or we tried this years before and it didn't work and they fought you tooth and nail. So how do we know it's going to work this time? Because a lot of times people say stuff and they don't mean it. They just say it to get your vote. And we want to make sure that we are asking the right questions, and write your questions down before you go to the forums. I mean, they try to limit the time on forums. So have your question ready. And when they ask them, anybody have a question, you already have a set of questions, and you can write your questions on the card to see if they'll pick your questions. We just have to be informed voters, okay? We can't just keep voting for people because we like them. You know what I'm saying? Because I can like you, but you may not be able to make sound decisions. Okay, you may not perform well in that particular area. Maybe something else is best for you. And then let me tell you this: just because a person is not recommended doesn't mean they're not the right person for the job. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say, do your research, do your research, do your research. And also, for those politicians that sit in these seats now, pay attention to the meetings. Then you can see who's really working for you. You can see who's really making sound decisions, who's making a lot of noise. What's necessary, what's not necessary, what doesn't make sense. Okay? Sometimes an empty barrel makes the most noise. So that's what you have to be able to discern when you're trying to figure out who you're going to vote for. Is it somebody just making a whole bunch of noise, but they're not saying anything? Have no substance to what they're talking about? They just making a lot of noise trying to sound good. Are we falling for that? I advise us not to. I advise us to be keen voters, to be on our money, to be sharp, to hey, you don't even have to talk about it. I'm telling you, you do not have to talk about who you're going to vote for. You understand? That's your business. It's private, and you don't have to discuss it. Get ready to be a informed voter. It's nothing worse than voting for somebody and they get in that seat and they act like they don't know you, right? And then worse, they don't want to. Let's say this: they're not doing what they said they were going to do, and when you remind them, they have nothing for you. They don't listen. They don't try to adjust or anything. And you say, listen, you said that you were going to do this, this, and this, and that's not happening. I'm telling you, we have to make sure that we are mindful of who we are voting for. And at this point, I can't tell anybody who to vote for because I am still trying to have an open mind, okay? And I say trying because, like I said, I have friends running against each other. I have friends running against each other. And so I have to be open-minded. And then at the end of the day, I have to decide who is best for this position. You got a lot of people that vote because of race, gender, You have a lot of people that do that, but that's not me. That's why I don't discuss who I am voting for. I don't discuss who I'm voting for because I don't want anybody to come at me about something that's personal, because who I vote for is personal. Who you vote for is personal. You have a right to choose who it is you want to vote for, and nobody has a right to tell you what to do or when to do it, and all that. So you don't discuss it. Don't discuss it, because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your voting for someone. You can't add up all those votes that's going to happen in November just by saying, "Are you gonna vote for this person? You gonna vote for this person? You gonna?" That's a feel good. That's just a feel good thing. Oh yeah, okay, I got her vote. I got her vote. I got her vote. And really and truly, people tell you they're gonna vote for you, go right up there and leave you right on off of their ballot. I'm telling you, a lot of people do that. Okay, but the thing is, you just have to do your campaigning, and I'm talking to the politicians or the excuse me, I'm sorry, the candidates. You have to do your campaigning. You have to be on point with your campaigning. You have to be honest with your campaigning. See, one thing about it, let me tell you this. What you say over here in this room, you better be able to say it over here in this room. And you want to say it pretty much the same as you said it over here in this room. That way you don't have to keep remembering what you said. When you're consistent, tell the truth. I'm this, this, and this. I will do this, this, and this. I don't believe in this, this, or this. And when you're consistent, nobody can say she's lying or he's lying. They can say all she says or all he says is this, this, and that. And I believe him or I don't believe him. But you haven't changed. You have not been inconsistent. You're telling the people what they can expect from you. And when a person tell you what you can expect for them, believe them. If you need to go in debt, ask them questions. Ask them to elaborate. There's nothing wrong with that. That is why they're there. That is what the campaigning is for. Okay? But we have to make sure that we are voting for people that are going to do what we need them to do in our lives. I'm going to vote for somebody that's going to take care of my family, that's going to do right by my family. Okay? And as long as I'm doing that, I know that my vote is legit. I know that my vote has not gone to waste. As long as I research. And so you may be the person in your family that tells everybody who to vote for. Okay? So let's say this. You don't do your research, but you done told everybody in your family to vote for Tom, Dick, and Jerry, or Harry. Tom, Dick, and Harry. You done told everybody to vote for Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Now, Tom, Dick, and Harry turns out to be a flop, right? So now you have disappointed everybody in your family because they depended on you. And what you didn't do is your research. And so the best way to tell somebody to vote for a person is to do the research, sit them down, tell them why. Tell them why you would vote for this individual, blah, 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 blah. Why wouldn't you vote for this individual over here? Blah, 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 blah. Why do you feel that this individual is going to be best for your family and for your community? And that's how you explain to a person, this is why you should vote for this person. Not vote for this person. Vote for this person. This is the best person. Well, of course, if that's your person, if that's your friend, if that's your family member, of course you're going to say it's the best person. That does not mean it is the best person. And then people, if you have people running again for re-election, all you have to do is look at what they have done over the years that they were already in the seat. That's all you have to do. And if you're satisfied with that, well, by golly, I guess that might be who you vote for. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I always believe if it's not fixed, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That was my thing in the military. If it's not broke, don't fix it while we're tampering with it. You know, that's what I used to go by. But now you got to remember that even though it's not broken, may not need to be fixed, some things can be enhanced, some things can be improved. So that's a lot of stuff that we have to consider when we're voting. Does the next candidate have improvements that may fit us better? Okay. Does the next candidate have my best interest at hand? That is important. Do they have your best interest and your best interest of your family at hand? You would hate to vote for somebody and then they turn around and basically disappoint you. They turn around and work against you. Come on, somebody. You would hate to do that. You would hate to put somebody in office, and then they turn around and act just like you vote for them meant absolutely nothing. They act just like they got in that seat by themselves. They ignore all the promises that they made to you, and they put their head high up in the sky and say, I'm going to be here for 4 years, period. And then you don't hear from them until almost 4 years. And so those are things that need to be considered. You don't hear from the people that you gave your vote to until it's time for them to vote again. Nope. Time for them to campaign again. They want re-election. That is not what we're doing this year. Somebody said that's not what we're doing. You're not using us this year, right? We will not be used this year, right? That's what we're going to do. And so that's how we have to look at this stuff. We have to look at it from every avenue. Are we going to hold people accountable? Are we going to say, look, this person, I love them dearly, but they did absolutely nothing. And I think it would be a mistake if we gave them another 4 years. Or you look at that person and say, hey, they really worked hard. They were fair. And I think they deserve another 4 years. It's what you see. What do you see as a voter? It's not what somebody tell me. Because I'm telling you, even if somebody say, love, you need to vote for this person, you need to vote for this person, you need to vote for this person. My first question is why? Why am I voting for these people? That's my first question. My second question is, okay, well, had they been in office before? Okay. My next question is, tell me, what did they do so significant that we need to keep them there? What didn't they do? What is their rating within the community? You know, who's talking about them? You know, and then, I mean, I'm not independent, but I mean, if you're going to get political and be like parties and the Democratic Party, Republican Party, what did the Democrats say about them? How did the Democrats feel about this individual? How does the Republicans feel about this individual? Do they feel that they did a good job? Do they feel like they did a good job for the Republicans or for the Democrats? Or are they just voting for them because of the party? See, those are the things that you have to understand, because just because you with a certain party doesn't mean you're not going to take care of the people. Just because, you know, you say that I'm for this party don't mean you're not going to take care of all the people, because honestly, when you're working when you know, being a politician, you're supposed to take care of the people. And let me talk more too with the local elections as well, because you know, with our local elections, what we run as independents. So running as an independent, you know, the bottom line is you're going to take care of all citizens. And that's what I ran on. I'm going to take care of all the citizens. I'm going to make sure we have the best of whatever we can have the best of. And it doesn't matter whether your party is or what your race, nationality is, your gender. I'm going to take care of all citizens that are under my care. And that's all I try to do. I'm not, running or I'm not serving for my next run. I'm going to make these 4 years count. I'm going to do everything that I can to put in the right work. And then prayerfully, if I decide to run for another 4 years, because if I do, it'll only be one more term. And if I decide to run for one more term, I pray that if people see that I was one of the ones that worked for them, and they are pleased enough to vote me back in. That's what I pray. Okay? I don't, so I'm not a title wearer. I'm not a title wearer. I just like, there's just certain things that I like. And as a leader, because, I was military, so I always believed that whenever your leadership changed, you should know who your leaders are. We've always had to know that in the military. Now, I don't know what they teach them now, but I know that when the top change, you have to know who they are. And I'm talking about from the president's cabinet to your supervisors, to your immediate supervisors, your doggone squad leader. Whenever there was a change in leadership, you had to know who they are. And so I just find it difficult when I go, visit and people don't know who I am, because that is one of the things you should be mindful of. Who was elected? Who was elected to that position? Who is on that governing board for which I work? You see what I'm saying? That's important. But titles never, ever was a big deal for me, because I always believed that if you want to be in charge, become a CEO of your own business. That's what I believe. And titles don't do it for me. But I know a lot of people out here that walk around and they big on titles. And that's another thing we have to look at. Opportunists. Are these people that we're electing opportunists? They just want the title. They want the power. I'm going to call a spade, baby. I mean, I'm just talking in general about campaigns and elections. Are we going to vote for people that's power hungry? Pay attention to that. Watch out for that. That is a thing. And we must be mindful of that, because when you power hungry, a lot of times you're just doing what benefits you. You're not worrying about what's going to benefit the people, and we cannot put people in positions like that. I can give you so much advice about being a knowledgeable voter. I can give you so much advice about a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to campaigning. But we're talking about, getting ready to vote for people who are going to make decisions for us. And see, that's one thing we have to remember. When we're voting for people, when we're voting for folks, we are voting for people to make decisions for us. That's what we're voting for. Okay, so some of the things we may not agree with, but the question is, do I agree with this person being the best one to make a decision for me? Do I think that they're going to do what's best? Are they going to weigh all the pros and the cons? Are they going to add up everything that we had and come out with the right answer? Is that equation going to add up to the answer? So that's what we're looking for. Can I trust this person to make a decision for me in my absence, because that's what it is. It's in our absence people are making decisions for us, and we got to make sure that we put the right one. Can I trust this person to protect me? Can I trust this person to make the right decision, to do this, to do that, to do, or is this the bartering game? Quid pro quo, or we this for that. You know what I'm saying? I get in and I do this for you, and I get in and I do this for him, and what can I get out of it? You know what I'm saying? And so it's difficult, but you have to be comfortable in your vote. And if you just got somebody, you waiting on somebody to tell you who to vote for, I don't see how you can be comfortable in your vote. Now, I can take your advice, and then what I'll do is I'll go and look up everybody. And I might be like, wait a minute, I don't think so. This person, this, and this, and this. And this person over here look more promising to me. So, and guess what? I'll go in that booth and I will vote for who I want to vote for. You understand? So, that's what I want to make sure, that we are remembering to be informed voters. We're remembering to do our research. And of course, there's nothing wrong with asking around. But we're going to also go to forums. We're going to go to different events that people are holding, just so we can get the information. Yes, they're going to want money from them, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. But your vote is more important. And they just might win your vote. And when people ask me to come to their kickoffs and all that stuff, no, I don't have a whole bunch of money to give, because I'm trying to run my own stuff. But I am informed. I am listening. I hear it. I'm comparing. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes so that I can ask questions of the other candidate if need be. Or I'm taking notes because I'm comparing it to what the other candidate has already done in their tenure, in their current tenure. And so that's why we have to be informed as voters. So let's stop having people tell us who to vote for, and let's let them be recommendations. And we go out and we do our own research, and then we vote for who we feel are best for us. Drop the party lines right now, and I'm honest, and do your research. Do your research, and then if it's something that you don't agree with, there you go. Pros and cons. I don't agree with that. May not be the candidate for me. I agree with this one. May be the candidate for me. Oh, I'm up in the air. So let me keep researching, because it might be a tiebreaker. And that's how we need to vote. We really need to take time and to who we are choosing for our family to lead us, to make decisions for us, to guide us, and to be representatives of us. How do they treat us? I'm telling you, y'all pay attention to some of these people out here. Once they get elected, baby, you can't say a word to them, because they tall corn. They tall corn, honey. Or they smiling and grinning in your face and just as nasty behind your back. That makes a difference. Because if somebody sees you being a nasty individual, that's you. There's nothing cute about that. Be one way. If you're going to be a decent person, be a decent person when nobody's around. Okay? So let's pay attention. Let's be informed voters. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not be bullied. We're going to vote for who we know is the best person for our family. That's what we're going to do. Who is going to be the best person for us? All right. Remember, God loves you. I love you. Make sure you love yourself. Then you can go on and properly love someone else until we shall meet again. May you be tremendously blessed, and I will see you very soon.